Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Thrilling Thursday. Got all my yelling. Well, there'll probably be a little bit more yelling today, I'm sure. A little bit more angry, a little bit more anger and agitation today, I'm sure. But that's all right. We need that, right? We need a little bit of the fire under our asses. We need a little bit of kick in the butt, right? It's too easy to, sit in a chair, right? It's too easy to sit in front of TV. Good morning, Joyce. Good morning, Roger. It's too easy to say somebody else has got this, right? It's too easy to, sit there, in the bed, lay in the bed, watch TV, read your book. I mean, that's our comfort zone, right? That's a really comfortable place that we're in. And, like all of us, I think about life all the time. We're always reflecting, right? We're wondering what we've done. Good morning, Diane. We're wondering if we've done enough. Good morning, Dave. We're wondering if we've done enough. We're wondering, we look back at those days that we didn't do anything, that we did sit in those beds with regret. We look at it as though sense of loss. We take a look at it, right? And, we wonder, the what ifs, right? And we think back and we go, man, if only I would have done this. Good morning, Kathy. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Wendy. If only I would have done this. If I was this age again, I would have done this. And if I had it to do all over again, right? All of those cliches and those statements that we make, right? And then we sit there at our chairs. We sit there at the dining room table. We sit there on the beds. We sit there on our couches. Maybe we get into our routines, right? Our comfort zone. Maybe we go over to the supermarket. We got it scheduled out and everything else. And every day we sit there going, well, if only I would have done this. If only, I was this age, like I said, this age again, and, I was back in that time, I would have done this, right? Good morning, Joyce. Well, today is a day that you can do all that stuff. Whatever it is that you want. You guys hear me say this stuff all the time. Doesn't matter how old you are. Good morning, Kathy. It just doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter where you are at right now. Imagine if you could go back in time and told yourself, there's another thing that we always say, right? Well, you're in the moment right now. You're present right now. You have the ability to affect what you're doing right now, whatever it is. And why don't we do things? We don't do them because we either don't know that they're there or that they exist or that there's even the possibility or potential to do them, right? We don't know where to start. We don't know how to organize it. We don't know where to go. And thinking about it today, I made a commitment to myself. Probably about, it's hard to believe it goes so fast. It was probably 2 years ago. And, one of the commitments that I made to myself was working out. And of course, I've always worked out throughout my life, but I needed to modify the way that I was working out. And what I committed to was something that I called the hundreds. And I picked weights that I could do with my exercises, that I would do high rep stuff to build ligament and tendon strength. I was struggling with some of that stuff. I was always good with, muscular strength because I worked with high weights early. And I didn't really injure myself a lot, but, every once in a while I would get an injury. There would be a knee injury or a hip injury or maybe a shoulder or an elbow, wrist, something like that, So I committed to that process, and that was 2 years ago now. Good morning, Jackie. And it's hard to believe that it's been 2 years ago. Like I was literally just about to say it was a year ago. And I did it every day. I said, I'm going to commit to this process. And what I do is I take 5 or 10 minutes out of the day in the morning. Maybe it's 15, depending on how much time I've got. And I was going to work out, and I was going to do these exercises and abs. And I always had good abs. And I still kind of did at that point, but I said, you know what? I'm going to commit to doing abs. I'm going to commit to doing every single one of these different workouts. And I'm going to do it because I want to be better on the football field. I want to be better in life, in the work that I do. And I want to be better, with volleyball and any of the sports that I play and anything, anywhere I go and anything that I do. So I started doing it. And I didn't know what the results were going to be. I didn't really know. I didn't do any research on it. I just kind of said, you know what, I'm going to run with this and I'm going to start it. And my body's always been the way that I'm able to, it gets strong fast. Like it's got great muscle memory and things start to come back. And I humbled myself because what I was always doing was you would want to go to that high weight. And I humbled myself and I said, go low weight, go high reps, keep this going. And my body transformed in ways that I couldn't even imagine. Like it just got so strong, the tendon strength, the ligament strength, everything that I was trying to gain, it happened. And I take a look at the sheets that I started with. And most of the sheets that I started with 2 years ago, and I committed myself to go, everything's failure. So you go the best and the hardest that you possibly can with it till you can't do any more. You're just, you're done. Whatever exercise it is, it's done. You get that number and you hope that that number is better than what it was the last time, and you record everything down. And then if you're not able to attain that goal or that objective that you had the week before, or the day before, or the week before, because I usually go one body part every week, or one time a week. And if you're not, you don't let it debilitate you. You're like, look, I didn't get it today. That's okay. I'm going to get stronger for next week, and I'm going to stay more focused. I'm going to make sure I'm eating right. I'm going to make sure you don't let it get you down and detract you. If you have one little so-called micro failure, right, you don't let it get you down, and because that's what we do all too often, right? We don't do something as good as we did the time before, so we're like, we get frustrated, we let it consume ourselves, and we can't let it do that. And I committed to myself saying, I'm not going to allow myself, good morning, Amanda, good morning, Carrie, I'm not going to allow myself to victimize myself or sabotage myself, undermine myself the way that my tendencies, my predispositions, knowing myself and knowing what I would do. I'm not going to allow myself to do that, because I said doing something is better than nothing. And doing a little bit each day is better than nothing. And doing a little bit each day, as opposed to where I used to want to do the workouts, I would do a whole big workout routine, and it would take me like 25, 30 minutes, and then you get OCD, right? And I told myself, do not get OCD with this. Apply the amount of time that I could apply to it, when I could apply it, and then the gains would come, the strength would come, the results would come. But I promised myself, don't ever let yourself get OCD with it so that you feel like you've got to do a lot. The whole point behind it was to do one exercise. If I could do one exercise, and then if I had time to do 2 and 3. Good morning, Barb. But I committed to that. And then I committed to doing that every single day. And my commitment was I would do it breakfast, lunch, dinner, and before bed 4 times. My exercises started off really slow, and all I have, good morning, Dave, and all I have, good morning, Eric, and all I have are weights at home. I have 15-pound weights up to 50-pound weights. And my original goal was I wanted to do 200, I set goals. I wanted to get every exercise with 50 pounds. Good morning, Jeff. Great to see you, brother. I wanted to get the 50 pounds, up to 50 pounds for 100 reps for whatever it was. And then the ultimate goal was to do 225 bench press 100 times. And that may be a lofty goal. That may be a completely unachievable, unrealistic goal. NFL, I think the record is 46. And I think even with the strongman guys, I think that they've gotten up to like 50 or maybe 55. But I set that goal and I started to train my body every day. And I told myself, commit to it, don't be OCD, get the little bit of a workout in every single chance you can get, because when I do that, the next day I'm going to be better. The next week I'm going to be better, little bit at a time. My grandfather taught me that by example. He never had to verbally articulate it. I just saw it in him. He had so many different things to do, but he would do what he could do, one thing at a time. Yeah, every day, one thing at a time, a little bit at a time. And before you know it, he got to where he wanted to be. When we take a look at something that is so big, we take a look at the mountain, or we take a look at the train, or we take a look at that government agency, we take a look at lockdowns, we take a look at polling cars, we think it's too big to take down. So I committed to not allowing myself to be OCD. I committed myself to doing the workouts as many times during the day. And if I didn't get a workout in, to not beat myself up, to just let it go. And when I could, I would do it. And the numbers that I ended up getting from 2 years ago, I take a look at the sheet. As all the work. I used to have it on just, one side of the sheet, and then it had some on the back. And every line was filled up, and as you add exercises. And then I had to do a notebook. And I made a notebook, and then I put all the exercises in, and the number of exercises that I've had from at the very beginning has probably doubled to tripled, which makes me even better and makes me even stronger. Absolutely, Jeff. But I didn't know everything right at the beginning, right? You never know it's just like the first day of work, right? You go into work, don't know what to expect. You go into school, you don't know what to expect, but you did it. You went in and you did that new job. You went in and you went to school. You went in and you took that class, whatever it was. You started that business. Good morning, V. And you did this. I'm glad you needed to hear it, Amanda. And you just did it. And you got up off the couch and you went and you did it. Whatever your inspiration was, whatever your motivation was, you ended up doing it. And before you knew it, you weren't scared, you weren't nervous. It was a part of your routine, right? Going to school was a part of your routine. Going to that job was a part of your routine. Going to that church or going to that gym or going wherever was a part of your routine. It's so easy to just sit there and then reflect back on your life and say, I wish I would have. No matter how old you are, you can do whatever you want to do. Right now in my life, I'm the second strongest that I've ever been in my life. And in a lot of ways, I am the strongest. Now, I'm 26. Not 26. I am 47. And wait, am I 47? Year was I born? What year is it? So, don't tell anybody I was 40. Don't tell anybody I'm 47, all right? A lot of people say, are you 35, 36? Oh, I come here and give you a hug. I love you. And then I tell them I'm 26, and they go, man, you don't look so good for 26. I love the abuse. I do. I love the abuse. So, anyways. Gotta stay focused. I'm staying focused here. You did it. You started it. And you made those commitments to yourself to do something. Good morning, Deb. Really, Raj? I love it. So you made that commitment to do it. And today, 5 years from now, you're going to say, I wish I was doing these things when I was 5 years ago. You're never going to be chronologically younger. And this isn't to depress anybody. As this isn't my intent here, but this is the truth. You're never going to be any younger than you are right now. Right now. Right now. I'm older, right? It's all about what's up here. It's how you treat yourself. It's how you look at it. It's how you approach it. How you commit to yourself and to your life. How are you going to live your life? Is it going to be one that you have regret from now for the next year, for the next week, for the next month? I should have done this. Or are you going to take those little baby steps? Those little baby steps. Don't let it be a sad thought. Don't let it be a sad thought, Jackie. It's only because that's our ego. I feel stronger, healthier, better, more vibrant, more energized, more enthusiastic. I know I'm pretty enthusiastic, but I feel like my body feels amazing. My head feels amazing. Good morning, Taylor. Oh, Taylor, we got lots of stuff coming up, Taylor. Game on, baby. It's game on. I cannot wait. Cannot wait. Anyways, there's a lot going on. And this is why I'm starting this stuff. This is why I'm starting where I'm starting today. Oh, God, I love Taylor, man. She is the fight, and Jackie and Mark and everybody on this page that I see, Elizabeth, Diane, everybody, the fight that everybody has. And we're going to get into that. So I look at everything and I doubled or tripled the number of exercises that I had. And I started with one commitment to myself. One commitment. This is what I'm going to do. It started with a plan. It started with an idea. It started with the vision of my grandfather in my head saying, one step at a time. It doesn't matter. You got the whole mountain. It's one shovel at a time. That's it. You're building this one piece at a time. I know it, Taylor. I know. So it's one piece of the puzzle at a time. If you row something together, I equate it to let's say the Pan American Games, right? Or the Pan American Festival that they had back in the 1900s, right? It's all like fake. It's all a facade. It was a movie set, most of it. But there were some things that were substantial, right? Some things stayed. The Botanical Gardens stayed. The Historical Museum stayed. The Electric Tower, that stayed. But everything else that was there was all a facade, right? Just like so many movies, it's just a facade. It's a shell. And a shell can be torn apart and broken apart very easy, right? It's very easy to break that stuff apart. But when you build something steadily with a solid foundation, putting the right pieces of the puzzle in place, a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. You want to start that car project, you want to start that motorcycle project, you want to start that business, you want to start that group, you want to start that organization. It starts with one step. One in front of the other, in front of the other. You build, you build, you build, you build, you build. And then it becomes something special. So, I took a look at where I was at with the weight that I was and the reps that I had, and I go, damn, man, I did all right. And in the meantime, I had a couple of significant injuries that happened. One was a shoulder injury. And it actually, I think both of them were shoulder injuries that just came from goofy things that happened. Just really goofy things that happened. But I didn't let that setback stop me. Good morning, Melissa. I didn't let any of the setbacks stop me. I persevered. I figured it out. I adjusted. I adapted. I made sure that no matter what, I was committed to the process. Now my shoulder's better, and I'm lifting even more weight than I was before. And it made it stronger. And here I am 2 years later, and I take a look at those sheets and I go, and every day I'm like, damn, that's awesome. You know, it feels great to have gotten from where I was to where I am. And then I meet Ed Stephanie. And, you know, and then I play football. And I play football on Sundays, and here I am. I'm like 2 and 3 times as strong as I was when I first started it. And then, absolutely, Jeff. You know, and the reasons why I'm building are for football, are for volleyball, are for life, are for my business. You know, and I love where I'm at now in life because I just don't care. Like, you know, that cockiness, that ego, gone. Like, I love it. I love being put in my place. I love somebody showing me that I am not even close to being anything and that I need to keep improving, because then you keep improving. You never, ever, ever think that, because we all can improve every single day with every single aspect and component of our life. We can. We can make that happen. And I love coming in contact with people that make me feel like I haven't even come close to putting in enough work. I play football. Somebody's way stronger than me. I'm like, man, how was that? I'm working so hard. Got to work harder. Do a little bit more. Do a little bit more. Again, not OCD, committing to the process, right? You're just committing to the process. Absolutely. Absolutely, Jeff. And, you know, and then I meet Ed Stephanie. So, you know, on the football field, you know, maybe somebody throws you around or they knock you down and you're not just the starter. So you're like, I got to be better. You got to do it a little bit better. Where before, I'll be like, I'll get so mad and upset that somebody was able to get one over on me. And then it didn't do me any good because I'm just ruminating over it, right? I'm obsessing over it. And I'm like, this sucks. You know, why did they get to do that? And rather than taking that energy and that focus and putting it and directing it in a way that's determined and going to achieve results and be productive and effective, I would let it consume me. Like I said, just obsessing over it. Next week comes, you're not any better. And then I meet Ed Stephanie, and I see how strong Ed Stephanie is and the conditions that he works out in and the types of weight that he lifts. And I'm like, man, this guy is amazing. And, you know, I've been trying to work out with him and incorporate that into my schedule and routine the best that I can. But here I just met at a couple of weeks ago. And you take a look at it, and would I have been at a place to be able to work out with Ed 2 years ago? And then I think about how grateful I am that I put in all of that time every day. Those 5 minutes, those 10 minutes to apply towards what I was doing. And then comes lockdown. Lockdown comes in place. All the lies that we know, all the science that's out there, all the epidemiology that's out there, the viral science that's out there, the immunology that's out there, human anatomy, physiology, we all know it. We all know there shouldn't be lockdowns. We all know CDC said there shouldn't be lockdowns and what those effects would be. WHO, we know that. We know other countries, other health ministers, other health officials. We know that they have said, don't wear masks, don't shut down, don't lock down, don't do that. Bad, 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 bad to do that. Very bad. Because this is going to be the result. And all the results that they predicted were the results that happened. And people now are still behaving like they have no experience. Like there's no way. We haven't had a year of this, you know, over a year, because in my opinion, it's been around since August of last year. That's when you look into it and you dig into it and everything else, that is when it started. And that big spike that they showed, that, you know, the people dying and everything else, was back in what, March or April? That was actually the second spike. And, the first, we had already developed most of the herd immunity, in late last year, those 3 weeks that we needed. The way that it was supposed to be conducted was exactly the way that it went. But, all the very leftist governors, Marxist governors, the transactional governors that are out there, and the county executives, and, the health department officials and executives there, they knew what was coming. Bill Gates had already done Event 201 or whatever it was, and, the COVID and whatever they called it, and they listed out. Now, Bill Gates is not a scientist. Bill Gates is not a medical professional. What Bill Gates was laying out for the WHO and the UN and the US and every other country on how they should approach a pandemic. I don't know why he was enlisted as the authority, but he was. So Cuomo, who loves money and loves Bill Gates because of Common Core, they worked very closely together. All you got to do is follow that money trail. And it was another opportunity for Cuomo to shine transactionally and shut everything down. Shut as many businesses, small businesses down as they could. Sean, good morning. Good morning, Dave. And people go, well, no, that's not what Cuomo wants. That's not what pulling cars wants. It is what they want. They want those small businesses shut down because they can't control those small businesses the way that they want. When you have everything centralized, these people are control freaks. When you have everything centralized, and all the businesses shut down, it's much more difficult to reopen new businesses. It makes the pool of what you have to go to and rely upon and to shop at. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Mark. It makes that pool much smaller. And that's what they want, because as it's smaller, it's much more easy to maintain. It's much more easy to control. They don't want people being independent. They're talking about basic minimum income, right? Private business is a threat to that. When you have small businesses, that is an absolute threat to basic minimum income and everybody getting on the government dole. That is a threat. So you destroyed 50% of small businesses here in New York State. Over 1 million people moved out of the state because of the crushing and debilitating lockdowns that they had. That WHO says don't do them. They say don't do them. UN says don't do them. Other countries don't do them. All the economists don't do them. All the viral scientists and except for the ones that are being paid by mainstream media, excuse me, and the leftists to serve their agenda. They're the only ones that say you need the shutdowns, but they don't offer or provide any proof. And they don't offer or provide any evidence of these other countries that didn't have shutdowns, who are just fine at this point. So we had the lockdowns, and then you guys who were friends of mine before this know that I was a fighter, always fighting against everything else. But I was a keyboard warrior because I didn't know where to start. I didn't know who to turn to. I kept a list in my phone of all the friends and family that I had that I felt would be supportive. And then what happened is I started to meet all kinds of people through Restore Constitutional Freedom of New York, through Constitutional Coalition, one person at a time. Joe Palladino, Russ Thompson, Nancy Orticelli, Nick Orticelli, Greg Soika, Taylor Zablonsky, Autumn Thompson, Erica Case, Gay Thompson, Joe Probilski, Monica Probilski, Joe Kanaski, Jen and Paul, Mike and Desiree, John Winstead, boom, 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 boom. And then all of a sudden, oh shit, there's deficiencies. Well, let's start to figure out what we can do. Let's fill those voids and fill those deficiencies. And the things that are already there, let's support and bolster what's there. Let's not reinvent the wheel. Let's use the experience. When I started working out, I wasn't a shell and a frail person, I wasn't anywhere where I wanted to be. I was still strong, but there was a good basis and a foundation to start working out and doing what I wanted to do. And a lot of these groups had been fighting for a long time. Sure, they were discouraged. Nobody was supporting them, but they created a great basis and a foundation to launch off of, to build the support. And then what I started doing was, good morning, Kayla. What I started doing was I started keeping names down, and I listed them. Who are people that are organizers? Who are people that are researchers? Who are people that are investigators? Who are people that want to do rallies? Who are people that could potentially start a group? What are their interests? Support them. And I kept these names down, and those names always add and add and add. And then I said, what can I do to support every single person that is in a group? You know, what can I do to support every single group leader? What can I do to support every single function that they have, you know, every single fundraiser that they have to make them better? And I think it's a delicate balance, guys, because you have to understand and realize that you need to be that person that walks into the office that first day. And you have to have that mindset. I know we all think that we have all the answers when we come into some of these groups or when we start some of these groups. And you may, and we may have all the answers, but you truly have to humble yourself to go in, even if you are a leader, even if you are a business owner, you have to humble yourself to take a back seat. Let it be that first day of work that you walk in. Observe, monitor, record, see what you can do to contribute by asking, you know, hold off on making recommendations because some people don't take those recommendations in the right way, right? It can be insulting and it gets, you know, this person has been doing this thing for a long, long time. So earn their respect, start doing things within the group that they need, ask them what they need. Whatever it is that they need. Don't say, hey, I can do this or do this. Ask them what they need, what role you can fill. Prove to them that you can be a team player and contribute in a real and meaningful way. And then what's going to happen is people are going to start to respect you. People are going to start to see you as somebody who isn't just all talk. Commit to being there every single day, because what happens all too often is high exuberance, you show up and you're up here and then you get frustrated because somebody didn't listen to you or they didn't take your idea, and then all of a sudden you're down here, and then all of a sudden you're not a part of the group anymore and you're disenchanted and disenfranchised. And it's not because of that group, guys. It's because of how we approached it. And you got to approach it as that first day coming into the office, that new job that you got. You figure out where the printer is. You figure out where the snack machine is. You figure out who the people are that are going to be bringing breakfast, right? You figure out all those little things. You figure out those little nuances, and you figure it out, and you build, and you build, and you build, and you build. And when you become a part of these groups, do those things. Contribute your ideas when it's appropriate, you know? Pull somebody aside. Don't get frustrated if somebody doesn't listen to you, because you have a ton of people coming at you, and then offer to that person, say, hey, I can be here for you if you want. I can take like names down and phone numbers. I know there's a lot going on. Is there anything you want me to do? Do that. Then you'll build. You be a true team player in whatever group that is. Whatever group it is. And then you'll get to a point where you'll earn the trust of that group leader, and you can say, hey, what do you think about this? And approach it like that. Hey, what do you think about this? And most of the time people are going to go, I love that idea. That is amazing. Let's figure out how we can do it. And then be prepared to do something about it. Like have a plan of action ready to go ahead and move forward with these things. So back in March and April, we didn't have much organization, right? We started to build, and I said, I came in and I go, man, this is very fractured. We need to get these things organized and together and networked in every single way that we can. So I worked a little bit hard. I worked hard, but again, one day at a time, learning each lesson on what I could do better to contribute to everything. And anytime an opportunity arose, whoever it was that I spoke to, if somebody came up to me as innocent as, I want to make sure I'm monitoring, good morning, Carla. I want to make sure that I'm monitoring local media, or they say, I want to make sure I'm going to rallies. What can I do? And then I focus in on that person. I turn my attention to that person. They're asking me a question, and I let them know, look, this is what you can do. Do this, do this, do this, do this. This is how you can contribute. And then where they could say, I didn't know where to turn, I didn't know where to start, now they know where to start. I encourage them, and I try to build them up to say, you can do this. I've seen, your passion, your enthusiasm, and if you want any kind of help, I will help you in every way that I can to contribute and build what it is that you're looking for. Or I go, this is this group that is out there. I think you should become a part of this and start to see what's happening over here. And then I put it on that person and they say, look, man, it's up to you. I can't hold your hand. I can be there to, follow up and try to offer that encouragement and that motivation and that inspiration to try to do something or even get out to some of these rallies. But at the end of the day, it's all up to each one of us. We're all adults. And then it's up to each one of us that once you have that first building block to do something, to build it day by day, moment by moment, those 5-minute increments by those 5-minute increments. Everybody that's in these groups are so intelligent, they're so capable, they're so qualified, they're so brilliant, they're so strong, they're so motivating, they're so inspiring. You can do it. Just believe in yourself. Even if somebody else is doing something similar to what you want to do, learn from them. And then go to them and say, hey, I'm looking to do this, and I don't want to pull away from what you've got going on, so I need a little bit of help. This was my idea and my plan, and I was thinking that this is what I was going to do. And this is why I was going to do what I wanted to do. Develop those relationships with people, develop that trust with those people, work with the group leaders that are out there when you get those chances. Every chance you get, because that makes us stronger. It weaves us stronger, as opposed to not. So let's just put it this way. The first Breathe Free New York event, and Joe put it right, ear thing. I don't know, how many minutes did I get in? I think I got 30 minutes in before I did my first ear thing. And I haven't adjusted too late for that. I just adjusted myself. Now I'm adjusting myself with my legs too. You're welcome. Joe Palladino said it and put it best this weekend. He said that I didn't know anything before this. He says, I didn't know any of the faces, all the 30 people that were in his house. Nobody knew who he was, or he didn't know any of the people that were there. And now it's not just the people that were there, it's this whole huge group of people that Joe was networked in with. But Joe is a piece of that puzzle, right? And if it's just going to rallies, or if it's just going to a seminar here, or, being on Facebook and doing this or whatever, okay, you're familiar with one another, but you're not really together. It's not really like when you put that call out, it's awesome, Mark. Thanks, bro. So, Doc Holliday. Wait, who's Doc Holliday? You mean like the real Doc Holliday? So, you're not tied in together, right? But now all of a sudden you see somebody at a bonfire. You see somebody at a team building event. That's the second thing. Then you see somebody at a rally. Then you see somebody at a restaurant. Then you're sitting down with them. You're getting to know them. It's locked in. It's locked in. And then you're able to have a conversation with that person because now you know who they are. And you're like, oh, we're doing this. Oh, we're doing this. And that has built our network to where we are right now. That is how we continue building our network. It's those individual small groups that we have. And then it's the even smaller individual groups that you have within that group. So let's say if it's Breathe Free, that is a small group. That's an independent group. But within that group, there are the 100 people that we have, right? And then those 100 people that we have, each one of you builds that small group underneath it, right? And it lays that concrete for that foundation for that big group or that small group that's underneath, right? Because you now, rather than the 100 people, which is strong, you take a network out to your 5, 10, 20 people. Put those people into your contact list, the best people. And if you don't have that many people, you go on. This is how I built the group, guys. I built the group by going on to other people's pages, seeing people who were posting like-minded comments, and then I friend requested them. And then we got to know each other. MinPin? What the hell is MinPin? I don't know what you're talking about. What is MinPin? Oh man, if I just, maybe I need my tea. Maybe I need my tea this morning. But it started with being friends on Facebook with somebody, like Mark and Jackie. We were just friends on Facebook, or we met out somewhere at one of the events. And literally now, Mark and Jackie are coming over to my house and they're bringing breakfast. Wait, was I supposed to make breakfast? You guys are going to go hungry if I got to make breakfast. So, Mark and Jackie and I love it. Sounds good. I can't wait, hon. But Mark and Jackie and we met. And then they became part of another group. And then we're together and we're getting together. And this is where where it's so important. Use guys. I should say that it's use guys. This is where it's so important for use guys to build that, to create it, so that you have that group of 5 or 10 or 20 people that you know and trust implicitly. I trust Jackie with my life. I trust Mark with my life. They would have my back and they know I would have their back no matter what. And it is hundreds. And I'm blessed with hundreds and hundreds of people that know I would have their back no matter what, fighting with them till the bitter end. Now, when Jackie and Mark start taking a look at themselves and they go, I can build my own team underneath this, the people that I'm networked with, that I share all of this information with, that is being distributed from the groups at the top. And then it gets down to the groups at the bottom. And then it gets to each one of those individuals at the bottom. And those 5 or 10 or 20 people, then all of a sudden they start, I know, Amanda, isn't it awesome? It's then those people within their group, they start growing their groups. And that's where we have something that is just extremely, extremely special. And the reason it's special is because you can't, right? We get lost in these groups. Good morning, Liz. We get lost in these groups. We don't have an identity. We feel like our voice isn't there when the group is too big, right? So when you have your small knit family supporting under Breathe Free, you know, you have that 5, 10, 20, whatever it is, whatever you can manage. That is your group that you have, that when Breathe Free says, we're going to be here, we're there. Then you look to the side, you go, Marching Patriots are going to be here, we're there. We're going to go to Rolling Patriots, we're there. Constitutional Coalition is having this training, or they're doing this meeting, we're there. Libertarian Party with Dwayne Whitmer, he's doing something, we're there. Jim Ostrowski, we're there. Dave DiPietro, we're there. And those groups just keep extending outward, all based on each one of us underneath and what we're doing. So you then build those groups with those individuals. You have the groups, and then you're building your individual groups to support and bolster everything, strengthen it. And then those larger groups that are going to really make those impact. School boards, local justices, local committees, right? We have local elected offices, city elected offices, county elected offices. Guys, right now the team that we're building is going to do that. And we're going to put that stuff together so that we all follow it. We all know it. We can be strategic. We can get this information out in a calculated way. We can not only work with press, local media, but we will create new local press, local digital media, where it will report. We'll work with the photographers, we'll work with the videographers, we'll work with the parties to get these candidates selected, nominated, and then we'll work with our voting in our elections divisions that aren't fraudulent, that are honest, to make change. Then we'll take a look at legislation and what needs to change and what needs to be eroded and what needs to happen. And all the while, we're doing those things. Good morning, Elijah. Great to see you. Great to see you, brother. All the while we're doing that, the biggest thing you cannot do is you cannot be negative in any way. You cannot be a destroyer. You cannot be somebody that is going to detract from what is happening. Contribute always in a positive, meaningful, and relevant way. When you have those thoughts that you want to say something off color or negative, or even talk to someone, well, they could have done that a little bit different, or don't do it. Don't say it. Be encouraging and uplifting in every single way with positive reinforcement. In every single way. And I've fallen victim to it a couple of times where, I've said things that have not been completely positive about other people, but I always try to be mindful and careful of that. I always try to be very respectful of it. Because the last thing, I want everybody to be able to see me within these groups as somebody that is not going to do that will not contribute to that will only be a positive force, moving forward, supporting every single person within the group. And that's why the small individual groups are important, guys. They're critical because you offer and provide the support to everybody within your little network, those 5 or 10 or 20 people or 30 people, however many people you can manage, you do it. And you're using all the other people who have their groups that are an example, and it's just all unified. It is all together. It's just seamless. It's not like you're the leader of that group. It's just that's the group that you have. Then, when something happens, like a lockdown against businesses, when something happens, like Joanna gets attacked by terrorists and she needs an attorney, we can help them. When somebody like Michael Kremen is attacked by a weaponized government agency and a tyrannical DA called John Flynn, we can protect them. When businesses are forced to shut down, we can give them the information and the tools that they need to protect them, to insulate them, to not only that, but make them profitable. And all that started with one person, one idea. And here we are, 8 months later, 9 months later, looking at what we all thought was going to happen again, right? And we're given we're given the excuse that, oh, well, and I don't want to get into it. Good morning, Shawno. I don't want to get into how or why we're getting into the lockdowns, because we all know it's lies. We know people that are working in hospitals right now, they're not filled. We know that the tests are giving false positives. We know that. We know that they're picking up any COVID strain that you've had up to 15 years ago. We know that. This is why there's a spike. They had to create and manufacture the spike. That's the science. I'm going to tell you what, guys, just really briefly, I'm going to step away from where we're on and then I'll get back to it. I watched a special, or watched it on CBS last night, and they had an immunologist on. And she was cute. Right? They know what to do. They get the handsome guys, they get the cute girls, right? And I'm listening to what she's saying, and I'm like, she's literally saying nothing at all. Like, she's just talking in completely general terms. And when you start to pick it apart and analyze what these major media outlets do, you're like, man, that's really weird. But here's the weird thing. I watched it. It was a 13-minute segment, and it was talking about dark days to come. Isn't that weird? Because it was kind of like Buffalo News, no place, no safe place, right? And I listened to it, and even me, I'm like, man, maybe there's something to this. Like, maybe there's legit something to it. Even me. That is how powerful their message is. That even I, knowing everything that I know, and then I followed it up, and I watched, which term did they use, Mark? And then I watched something from mainstream media on the elections, just to see if it would affect me the same way. And it did. And I'm like, well, yeah, maybe it's just all nonsense. Maybe it's just Trump being me questioning it. And then I had to throw the water on my face. I had to slap my face. I had to get somebody to kick me in the jimmy a few hundred times. Yeah, that's a thing. No, it's not. Maybe it is. I'm not going to tell you for real. Just keep guessing. But even me. So just think, if you are somebody that is all you watch, if that is something that is all anybody watches, no wonder. It is amazing. It is absolutely amazing that any of us know Long Dark Winter. Yep, that's what we're in for. And they're pushing this on the Midwestern states. All the Midwestern states that had all the science, now they're attacking their people out there that had no shutdowns and were done and fine with it. Now all of a sudden they're using the false positive tests to make them think that there's an increase. It's absolutely horrible. Anyways, I've all the research that's out there, all the data, all the science that's out there. It just like that was like, oh, well, maybe. It is astonishing to me that there are so many of us that are able to see things clearly and for what they are. They are masterful at what they do. So what happens is we tune out the media. We have to tune out the media. You cannot watch mainstream media. You can't. Tune it completely off. The only way that you watch it is to see what the enemy is engaged in at that point, so that we can share and understand what they're engaging in. That's it. And when we work on everybody, one piece of the puzzle at a time, getting information out to them. One of the big things with Command Center that we're going to do is we're going to put and compile all this information. But not only are we going to compile it, we're going to record it. So the articles that the Buffalo News have, that MSNBC, the reports that they have, CNBC that they have, we're going to record that. We're going to have teams of people that are recording that stuff so that it can be chronicled in blogs, so that they can be held accountable and sued, or held accountable criminally if it elevates to that level. And then we're going to have this whole portfolio, this huge library of information that we can draw back upon and say, just like I did with Erie County, Back in February, Erie County said no masks, no lockdowns. They said that was all a fallacy. They called it conspiracy theory, right? Anybody that was from China, all the leftists were saying it's conspiracy theory. It's funny how everything gets labeled conspiracy theory, right? And the ball keeps moving everywhere. Whatever you say against them, that's automatically invalidated. They want to discredit it by saying that it's conspiracy. So masks were conspiracy. It said, I posted it on my page yesterday, and it said, misinformation, and then it said facts. And the facts were you don't have to wear masks. Well, the people who are the leftists and the Marxists, right, they're going to say, well, it was evolving science. They didn't know then what they know now. They always have an argument for it. Don't fuel it. Don't validate it. Stick with hammering the point home that these people, even if that leftist says, they didn't know then, okay, so what makes them know now? What makes them so certain that masks work, that lockdowns work? Because there's conflicting evidence. Even the WHO disagrees with Cuomo. Vehemently disagrees. Even the UN vehemently disagrees with Cuomo at this point. So which science is right? Cuomo's science, that he's not a scientist at all? Gates, who's not a scientist? Or all of the scientists and medical professionals and leading health organizations that you were subscribing to when it supported masks, and that you are subscribing to now when it's doing what you want it to do, but it's invalid when it's not doing what you want it to do. So we've built what we've built. Yeah, absolutely, Mark. We've built what we've built. Are we anywhere close to where we need to be? We're not. We're not even close where we need to be. We've built what we've built, and we can build upon what we've got. What we've got right now, guys, is infinitely more effective, infinitely larger than anything we've ever had. Because before, we had nothing. We had Constitutional Coalition fighting and doing what they could do, Libertarian Party, Dave DiPietro. Not that that's nothing, but in a scale, it's just so infinitesimal. And they were fighting and getting completely discouraged. So they were the basis and the foundation of where we could go to, right? And we could glom onto. But where we are with numbers now, as opposed to when we were then, we're 2 years down the road from where I started working out and to build what I built at this point, physically. And I have a long, long, long way to go with that. And we have a long way to go with what our organization is going to do. I know I'm getting to where I'm getting with physically. I'm committed to it. And there is not a doubt in my mind that we are going to take everything that we have right now and make it enormous. Marching Patriots were never there. Rolling Patriots were never there. Breathe Free New York wasn't ever there. All these business owners that want to come together were never there. Constitutional Coalition of Attorneys, that idea, which is just in its infancy, that was never there. This coalition of businesses that we need to create and network and get them to fight together. That has been an idea I've had for a long time, but was never able to facilitate it. That needs to be there. And now those opportunities, meeting these people that I'm meeting and putting and presenting this information to them and either putting it in their lap and letting them run with it or working with it together in a partnered way is just one other piece of the puzzle. It's another piece of the puzzle. One more part of the league, one more part of the team that we're building, one more part of this massive movement that we're creating together collectively so that when we look back 8 months from now, good morning, Courtney, when we look back 8 months from now, when we look back 8 months ago, we're like, It's a long way down, man. We are way more organized and way better than where we ever were. And then we look at 8 months from now, it's not even going to be the same distance away, because when you had what you had, now you have thousands of people just in our area. And that's all I want to focus in on, is our area. Because we started here and we can create this movement to go other places. But now you have thousands of people that can all make a difference and do something that we've collected. And people go, we're kind of at our capacity. No, we're not. People are like, we're kind of all in the same groups. Yeah, we are. Are there redundancies? Absolutely. But the only reason that we're staying where we are is because people aren't seeing their ability to create their own groups and their networks, and to do the things that we need to do with their own groups and the groups that are there and the bigger groups, to stay organized, to stay effective, to stay meaningful, productive, and efficient. So this huge group that we have right now is just going to expand even more. And you're going to look down on it and you're going to go, oh my God, that's where we were 8 months ago? Wait a minute, you mean now we have elections teams? You mean we have committee people? You mean we're rewriting legislation, and we're rewriting how school boards operate and how school unions operate? You mean we have local digital media? You mean we have elections processes and people that are going out there and doing that? You mean that we have multiple Breathe Free group events? You mean we have a business coalition? You mean we have an attorneys coalition? You mean that we've listed out every single politician that is out there and what they voted on? We've used freenewyorkstate.com to the best of its ability in fulfilling its potential. We've fulfilled everybody's potential the best that we can, 1 5-minute increment at a time, every day, working forward, working together, moving and marching in a unified way. And then what happens is you have and then we get back to accountability. Then we get back to people who work in government agencies, treating that position the way that it was intended to be treated, for the people. They are a servant of the people. They hate being called a servant of the person. They hate being told that they work for you right now. They should embrace that. But that is how the culture, the societal mindset, those cliques have become. They have bastardized it, right? It has changed and morphed into a thing that is just unrecognizable. Because we have allowed that to happen, and they have just spiraled it out of control because it entrenches them, it protects them. It's a barrier to insulate them from us coming after them. They are masters at trying to de-escalate us. They are masters at trying to diffuse us, to marginalize us, to make us feel like we're the problem. Law enforcement trying to make us feel like we're the problem. You go into a government agency, they make you feel like you're the problem. Go into a doctor's office, they make you feel like you're the problem. Now we create with our group of good people, moral, virtuous people with political ideologies that go across the board, and we demand and insist accountability. And we do that with our numbers, our sheer volume of numbers, that we protect people. We do it with our sheer volume of, so we've got people that are recording it through local digital media that are trustworthy, and that is the key, guys. We always, 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 and forever maintain honesty, truth, character, and transparency. Always. No matter how scary it gets. We can no longer feel like we can do what we want to do behind closed doors and then come out and put this facade on for others. That is how we've gotten to this point that we're at. Because we've gotten to the point where it's well, I'm going to do this because it's okay for me to do it, but it's not okay for this person to do it. I'm going to tell them that it's not okay for them to do it. I'm going to take advantage of the situation or my position over here, but nobody else is going to be. I'm going to get mine. I'm going to get what I need, and then nobody else can. We all need to act as if we are, absolutely, Mark. We all need to act as if somebody is always there. Only do things and say things that you would do if somebody was watching. If somebody was there. The way you want to be treated. It's that simple. It's not complicated. It is literally that simple. And when we do that, people are going to take a look at the group. And even if they have infiltrators, if they want to get infiltrated, what are you infiltrating? Like, exactly what are you trying to tear apart? Good luck, you know what I mean? And ideally, what's going to end up happening is those infiltrators, it's not that you kick them out, right? Because that's what we always default to, right? And I get told, what was I told last night? They're like, you can't fix every situation. You know, some people are irredeemable. You know, some people, there's just no good in them. You know, you see the good. People tell me you see the good in everybody, and I'm like, that's a bad thing. So what do we always default to, right? But what do you guys see me doing? You know, if it's Antifa or if it's Black Lives Matter, if it's somebody that's out there mask crazy, COVID crazy, yelling and screaming, what do I tell you? Say you love them. Say God bless America. Have a conversation with them. So even if there are people that infiltrate, because you have people, these people that are pulling cars, these people that are Bernsteins of the world, these people that are the Board of Elections officials here in this town, and these different politicians and the government agencies, these employees, that they, are going to try to get people to tear it apart because it puts them at risk. It puts everything that they know in jeopardy. It's a threat to them. Rather than kicking those people out of the group, you try to embrace them. You try to go, hey man, what's going on? You need to talk. Why are you so upset? I've heard you've had these conversations with these people. You'll come in, why have you done this? A little bit different. Stark contrast in the approach, right? Completely stark contrast. And then what happens is you have this huge divide, right? Where we think is a huge divide. And all of a sudden, if you start having those conversations with people, that it was able to get so far one way, now you're able to have that conversation and welcome that person in and be an example of what and how we want to, be and represent ourselves. And then that person goes, man, this group isn't that bad after all. And now they're not over here, now it comes here. And then it's one more conversation. And then it's here. And then it's another conversation. And that rift and that divide, that chasm that we see exists is no longer there. And we do that by making people feel appreciated, making people feel like they matter, listening to them, paying attention, being in the now, being in the moment, being aware of what they're going through. Like truly be empathetic and compassionate. Good morning, Frank. How you doing, brother? Frank, you and I got to talk, actually, so make sure I need your help with a lot of stuff coming up here. We make this happen together, collectively, one step at a time, together, in a unified way, in a collected way, where you always hear this, you can't have the good without the bad. Who came up with that? It's yin and yang, and you guys hear me say this. You can wait for the other shoe to drop. Who came up with this stuff? Was this Hank? Sounds good, Frank. Was this Hank on the assembly line at GM working in one of the crane towers? Like, who comes up with this stuff? What is the source of it? And I tell you guys all the time, there are bad things or seemingly bad things that are out there that are going to happen all the time, right? There's seemingly bad things that are going on today and every day. It's how do you react to it? How do you respond to it? How are other people going to see it? And how you're behaving? How are you going to treat yourself inside your mind? Are you going to allow yourself? Good morning, Natalie. Great to see you, hon. It's been a minute. Are you going to treat yourself good? Are you going to treat yourself right? Are you going to believe that you can be happy, that you can be healthy, that you can be at peace, that you can have fun, that you can laugh, that you can smile, no matter how bad things are? Are you going to be that person that believes you deserve to be happy all of the time, no matter what's going on? To have that fighter and warrior inside you, that's completely different. I could get like this, and right at the same time, I could be like this, right? You want it to be there to pull it out whenever you need it. And you only pull it out. You're not pulling that out, Frank. I'm not telling you to whip that out. Frank didn't say anything. I only said that because he's the only person watching on the other channel, and I could accuse him. You pull it out when you can, when you need to. You keep it reserved and measured. You don't want to abuse it. It's just like mama, right? It's just like mama back in the day. If she's flying off the handle all the time, right? And she's a maniac and a lunatic, well, the bar of her not being a lunatic is right here, right? And there's value in that. Like, honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. I support those people in our group that are crazy mama, because you need crazy mama. You gotta have crazy mama. You gotta have crazy daddy. You gotta have them out there. You gotta have those people. I know it, brother. We are, and that's what I need to talk to you about. We're gonna make this happen, and it's gonna be big and huge. We got a couple of plans, Frank. So I'm meeting with Jackie and Mark at 10 o'clock, and then I've got to meet afterwards with Dale. So give me some time and just be patient with me. But, crazy mama, if crazy mama's balanced down here, everybody's like, what's happening? What's going on? Like you're just waiting for it to explode, right? But be that person that, people know that you have that in you. But then be that same person, that measured and calculated person that people respect and look up to and they regard highly. Be a leader. Act as if all the time. Don't be cocky. Don't be arrogant. Just be accepting of everybody and everything that's happening. And if it's something that is unacceptable, just have that conversation with somebody. What's going on? How you feeling? Because I can tell you what, the impact that has on people is just incalculable. People just really respect and admire because we lack that, right? I know, Carla. People do like it when I comment, but I got to break out the crazy every once in a while. We know there's a whole lot of crazy inside there, right? Good morning, Linda. Good morning, Linda. Everybody knows me. They're like, man, you're so calm and balanced. People say, but then the people that know, they know there's a whole lot of crazy in there. So you got to pull it out when you pull it out. But people they don't have enough support. And that's a part of everything. Thank you, Mark. That is a big part of everything that is going on and why we're able to get to where we're at right now. is because we all were individualized. We were all separated. We were all made to think that, family doesn't matter, community doesn't matter, church doesn't matter, civics doesn't matter. And guys, it's not one thing in our lives. It is all of those layers. It is activism, being involved in politics. It is being involved civically, as a family, as a friend, in business, in the community, volunteering. There's all of those things. And I get back to this earlier, and this is kind of comes back and encapsulates everything that I wanted to say. When you look back at your life, what is it going to be? And your life starts right now. Everything that you've done yesterday and before, that's all amazing and great. Every day, it starts right now, building a little bit more, a little bit more. It's always ongoing. Don't ever let yourself beat yourself up. Transfer those thoughts and that energy into positivity that encourages you, that says, yeah, I made a mistake, so I'm going to learn from that mistake. That's okay. I'm going to be even better. Because that makes each one of us even more empathetic, even more compassionate, even more mindful, even more understanding. So that rather than subscribing to that pettiness, a little bit of anger, that strife, right? All of that stuff, you don't subscribe to it. You elevate yourself. Not the crazy mama status. You elevate yourself to happiness. You don't have to neutral, no, be happy. And it doesn't mean that when you're happy, you're going to drop it down. You're going to fall way down. No, it means that your level of what you're able to handle and endure is going to be that much higher. And you're going to be that much stronger and that much more powerful. And you're not going to sit there and you're not going to ever believe, because it's not mystical, guys. It's not cosmic. It's not exterior forces and external forces that are affecting where you are in your life. It is this. It is only this. And when you tell yourself that you are happy, you can be happy and you can stay happy and you can stay in that place. And is your life going to be something that you look back on 2 months from now? I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done this. What else is life for? And I say this all the time, who gives a shit about traveling? I mean, let's be honest. Traveling's great, but when you go someplace, what do? You're someplace different. If you go someplace different, you would think the reason to go travel would be, I can't wait to see the experiment, Frank. You would think that it would be to get to know other people, get to see the scenery and the village and everything else. But how many people go travel and what do you hear? You guys know what I'm about to say. We drank so much. We got so hammered. We had so much fun. So you got hammered and you drove. So you could have did that here, but you did that in a different place. We take a look at what's this meaning of life, right? Life is what we decide it is. That's it. That's all it is. There's no mystical, cosmic thing of life, with city slickers, it's one thing. No, it's us. It's the decisions that we make every day. It's not complicated. It's not complex. It's not mystic. It's not cosmic. So what else do you have? You want to go skiing. Well, great, go skiing. Do that. We go out to eat. You want to spend $200 when you go out to eat. Well, why? I don't understand why people like going out to eat and spending $200. Now, restaurants, I love going out to a restaurant, but do it in a measured way. But then, we went to Ellicottville, or we did this, and all the things that you talk about. Well, what did you do? And everybody's like, and you get that response, and everybody's like, oh man, I got so trashed, we got so hammered, I don't remember anything. Well, that sounds fun. That's my response. And when you go to the event, or you travel with somebody, or you do whatever it is that you're going to do, and you take a look at everybody, and you just go and you're like, well, but everybody's drinking, and nobody's like really getting to know anybody else or visiting or doing this or doing that. Maybe they're doing a little bit, but that's what it's all about. Wouldn't it be amazing if what your life was what you wanted it to be, in that you were involved civically, you were involved with activism, politics, elections, your church, your community, your volunteer group, kiddies. If you want to volunteer for the kiddies, there's plenty of groups for the kiddies. Hopefully it would be for, the elderly, because elderly, they need the help. And I'm not even going to get on that. We'll talk about that another day. We all know about that situation. Kids, you think about what we have directed life to be for all of us. And it is what? It's self-gratification, right? We got to be going out, we got to be doing this and traveling and go to the bar and go to this restaurant and we bought this bottle of wine, and that's great. Do those things for sure. If you enjoy them, if they're pure enjoyment for you. Otherwise, do you want to look back on your life and say that you actually mattered to somebody? That you did something for somebody, that touched them in a way that elevated them and brought them up to a whole new level of understanding and accomplishment and what they can do. Good morning, Jim. And that can start today. It does not matter that you're 60 years old and that you never did that, because you never knew how to do it. We never knew that it even existed. But you start one step at a time. One small step at a time. One piece of the puzzle at a time. And that's how we're taking this county back. That's how we're taking these towns back. And that's how we're taking this state back. Because there are way more of us than there are of them. Stone cold fact. People want to be happy. People want to feel enriched. They want to feel like they belong to something. They want to feel joy. They want to feel at peace. They want to feel healthy. They want to feel exuberant. They are tired of chaos. People are absolutely, utterly fed up with special interests and chaos and division and this constant fear-mongering and negativity. They are fed up in mass. They don't know where to go. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to start. It has been 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years of that existence. And they don't know where to go. They don't know how to change it. Each one of us, one step at a time, lifting up that weight in the morning and in the afternoon, that makes us stronger individually, but then it makes us collectively stronger as a unit. And then everything just is absorbed by all of us. And then we have the ability and capacity where at one point we didn't, to be able to nurture and foster people who were where we were, who are where we were. And then we build it, and we build it, and we build it. And we build it in a completely real and relevant and meaningful way that connects with people in the same way that I've connected with you. And we're not going to stop. So don't get discouraged. Don't get frustrated. Go through today doing something. One more thing today than you did yesterday. And then do a couple more things. And keep building. And if you need to do anything, please let me know. We're going to be doing rallies, protests. We've got a couple of big ones. I'm not going to reveal where they're going to be. They're going to be secret. I'm going to be reaching out to a lot of people. They're going to be very powerful and impactful. We're going to have it very well organized where we're going. One of them is going to be a very, very, very large group somewhere. I'm not going to say where. And the other one, we want a very large group. I don't know where it's going to, I know where it's going to be, but both are going to be in secret. We have 2 different meetings for businesses that are, I posted the one on my page that's happening tomorrow at 7 p.m. out in Orchard Park on California Road. I can't remember the business. I'll mention it tomorrow. Also, Marie Rock has another seminar for businesses. So thank God, guys. Look at there weren't, and nobody was working on being able to put together seminars for small businesses. We didn't have 8 months worth of experience and knowledge and what they do in history with what they do and how they handle it. It's not going to all of a sudden materialize and morph into something else that they can do. They're limited on what they can do. And we've educated ourselves. So tomorrow at 7 o'clock in Orchard Park, there's going to be a seminar on California Road. I'll get you that information. I did post it. You should be able to find it pretty easily. Then Marie Rock is going to do another one on Monday in Blaisdell. It's at their office that they have. If you have any business owners, guys, that are terrified and scared of shutting down, I implore you, message me, private message me, so that you can get this information and you can come and then get what you need to have so that you can allow your business to be open. To be factual information, it's going to be amazing. And then what we'll do is we'll use this as a launching point to get as many other businesses together as we can, because what do they do right now? They separate. They keep you as an individual, right? They pull you out and they attack you. They're not that big. Department of Health isn't that big. SLA isn't that big. They're not. We can cripple them. We can completely dismantle them. But we have to do it together. It's good stuff. It's a lot of great stuff. I was invited to Constitutional Coalition of New York tonight, so thank you, Nancy, very much for doing that. I'll be attending that. That was a last minute thing. I'll be there. Dwayne Whitmer will be there, and Nancy will be sharing what we're doing as far as the protests and the rallies. We do have a rolling rally this Saturday. It is in Grand Island. We're meeting at the Mighty Taco on Grand Island at 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. in the morning. Bring your truck, bring your big flags, bring your vehicle, decorate, whatever vehicle it is, decorate it. And then we'll be rolling. We'll give instruction when we're there. But that's at 10 a.m. this Saturday. There is no Marching Patriots rally. We will be having protests come up very quickly, though. So, guys, when I send you these texts and when I send you these messages, please make sure that you are doing everything that you can within your power to get this information out to everybody. If people need to come in contact with me, group leaders, political leaders, business leaders, or business owners, small business owners, whoever they are, religious leaders, please. We're building this information and network, but we're at the bottom. You know, that's why Mark and Jackie are coming over. That's why Dale and I work together. That's why Frank and I are going to be working together. That's why all of us are working together and doing everything that we can to get all this information, so that rather than, you know, trying to scurry and get this information, get out the best way that we can, we're going to be as effective as we can, because we're going to go, okay, we know this, Frank, do this, you know, go, boom, 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 everybody. We're not at that point yet. So with this, start feeding me that information. Just feed it to me, and I will disseminate and distribute that information. And we'll start logging everything and keeping it in an Excel file so that we know exactly what to do and who to contact whenever anything comes like this. This is our call to arms. This is our call to action. You know, I don't know what the reason is behind Cuomo doing it. He's saying that the percentages are way high. I have heard that he was upset, and, you know, he's a very spiteful person. You saw his interview yesterday. He's like a child. The guy is literally a mentally deranged, mentally ill child who stows himself away in his house and has to have people looking over him and watching over him every single day. But he's pissed at Frank Panasuk and the 1791 Society, so he's going to come after us, just like he went after those reporters. If you think he's that petty going after reporters, you think it's limited to that? No, it's not. He doesn't care. And because of that pettiness, he has shut down, because people have literally, restaurants that have stepped out against him, even said F-U-C-K Cuomo, he shut them down. Investigated them over and over and over again. That's what we're dealing with, guys. And the gloves are off. It's no more Mr. Nice Guy. These groups are going to be coming in full force. Start to build your texting groups, guys. I need you to do that. Build your groups. Build them. Because what we're going to do as the group leaders, we're going to disseminate that information, all of you, and we're relying on you guys, and we're counting on you guys. We can no longer have hundreds of people at rallies and protests. That's not working. It can no longer be that. We have to get to the point where we're at thousands, tens of thousands here in Erie County. We need to let these people know, because why that's important to have those numbers, guys, is because that's an oh shit moment for them. If you see an entire neighborhood, all of Niagara Square filled, anywhere we go, wherever we go, when you see it all filled, that is an oh shit moment for them. It can no longer be hundreds, guys. And we accomplish this by building your small groups. That's how we do it. Leave it to the leaders to organize everything, and then to distribute and disseminate that information to everybody, to get information out to, for press releases, to get it out to all of our people who'll be videographing and everything like that, to organize ourselves there so we can distribute information to everybody, making sure we have drums. Guys, every rail, go out today and buy a set of drums you can bang on. First off, it feels amazing. Boom, 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 boom. Buy drums. Buy a megaphone. Get a megaphone. Get a radio that is loud. We need to make these loud. They need to be as loud as they can. And yeah, my voice, I'm going to yell. Frank can yell. We're going to yell our heads off. Jen can yell her fool head off, and Paul can too, right? But it can't be just that. We have to be 1,000 times that voice. Bring drums. Bring any noise-making machine that you have. Anything to these rallies from now on, guys. And make signs that are relevant. Go out there right now, guys, and make signs. Make signs that have pictures of our elderly that have died. Make pictures or make signs listing out the elderly care facilities that are internment camps right now, and we're not able to visit those people. Show the schools. Show pictures of schools that are shut down. Show the pictures of the faces of these children that can't go to school, that haven't been able to play sports. Show them. Show the businesses that are shut down. Show the faces of those business owners that are shut down. Make those signs right now and have them ready to go. Don't show up to another rally without a set of drums, a noise-making device, or that sign that you have, guys. No longer show up to anything like that at all, ever again. And if you have a group, if you've got a group, make a banner for your group. Have people there with your group that you have, that you can trust, that will have postcards to hand out about your group and contact information, and business cards that you can hand out to people as well. And then within your group, make sure you go live on Facebook when it's there. This way, all the groups will go Facebook Live. Have somebody that can handle that camera for you so that you can be out there doing what you need to be doing, networking or rallying or protesting, whatever. We cannot bring tables and chairs or tables and booths to where we're at, right? We just can't. But we can stand there and we can have our banner up with the different groups that we're a part of. And the message needs to be consistent. So if we're at a Trump rally, it's about Trump. If we're out, with pedophilia, it's got to stay on that. If this is about freeing businesses and freeing New York from the leash of Cuomo, we have to have it focused in on that. Have those Cuomo signs. Communism, facts not science, facts not fiction, whatever it is that you guys have. And then list out other countries that never shut down. List out the other states that never shut down. And have that stuff ready to go at a moment's notice, and have your lists. And I hope to God you guys have lists of 100 people. Lori out in the Summit Park Mall, there were 1,500 people that came to that rally in a week, guys. In a week, people that had never come to a rally, didn't know what was going on. They were there. They mobilized in a week for Trump. This is way more important and involves way more people. This involves churches, small businesses, restaurant owners, schools, elderly care facilities. It involves every single one of us. Make sure when this word goes out, you commit to inviting every single person that you know that will be interested and that is affected by this. And then educate them, say, hey guys, make a sign. This is the sign that you want to make. Tell them to bring their drums. Let's make it reverberate and echo in a way that this town and this city only has done at Bills games or Sabres games. And I say that all the time. We can cheer on and care about Sabres. We can cheer on and care about a sports team that is absolutely insignificant, of no consequence. But we can't care for our own elderly. We can't care for our own kids. We can't care for these business owners. We can't care and fight for them in the same way. We can't do that. Of course we can. It's got to be a priority. If the Bills are a priority, if the Sabres are a priority, how are all of these people not a priority? That's what we need to do at rallies and protests, guys. That's your homework right now. You need to go out and you need to get this stuff and make those signs. These rallies are coming and we're going to have to do them a lot. They're going to have to know that we are a force to be reckoned with, and not a force of 100 people or hundreds of people, but this has to be a force of thousands of people. We have got to fill these places that we go for these rallies, guys. And we do this one step at a time, growing it and growing it and growing it. You guys have a wonderful day. I don't even know what time it is. I think I went a little bit long. Anyways, sorry. Oh, 9:30. Yeah, went way long. Jackie and Mark are coming over. I'm going to eat while you guys are here. It was a long one today, guys. I'm sorry. There was a lot of information to share. So I really appreciate you guys watching. I love you all very much. Have a wonderful day. Jackie and Mark, I can't wait to see you. I'm going to go grab some breakfast at Tim Hortons now. Tim Hortons, hate it. But I will see you guys soon. Have a blessed day, guys. If anything does happen, I'll come back on. Otherwise, enjoy it. Love you guys. Bye.